Well, hello and welcome to this week's episode of Conversations with an Investor. I hope you enjoy the new setup for those of you that are watching on YouTube. This week, all about mindset. I was going to do a video reacting to one of the viral guys that are basically rubbing everyone up the wrong way with their style. And I was watching the videos and I thought to myself, why is these getting appeal? Because it's usually along the lines of the reason your life's shit and it's all your fault and what you can be doing about it to sort yourself out. Are they right? And even if they're delivering the message in the wrong way, could they be correct? So when I was looking into what they were doing, I think to myself, like, what is it that we're discussing at the moment that changes people's lives? Why do people need changing their lives? Why is it people seek to get something new? Why are they not content with what they've got? And that's a great question. It's something that people there, and I've asked myself this personally when I think to myself, like, why do you do these things? Why do you do podcasts? Why do you do the Mount Mindset? Why do you not just go and sort of enjoy downtime? And the answer for me is that in life we want growth, we want development, we want to feel that we're improving. And one of the greatest ways that you can feel growth or improvement or fulfillment is when you're helping someone else. Think back now to a time that you helped someone. Maybe it was something small, maybe it was something big, but you gave them a hand and they really, really appreciated it because they couldn't have done it without you. How did it make you feel? It feels pretty good, doesn't it? And it's these things that I think as a species we're craving, because at the minute there's a lot going on in the world and there's not a great deal of leadership and there's not a great deal of good men being tough and leading the way. And I don't mean that in the chauvinistic sense. I mean that in terms of, good men leading from the front to say, hey, look, this is good character, this is good principles, this is good morals. And why are we getting a big rise of these guys like your Andrew Tates and Wes Watson and Andy Elliot? You know, because their content's really abrasive, and it's something like, you're in shit shape and you're a fucking mess and you have tits and a big belly and tiny arms and you're a disgrace and who would want to be like you? Or Andy Elliott's, hey, look, if you don't have a six-pack in my company, you're fired. And you think to yourself, that on the face of it it's not a great message to send. But what is the meaning? Why are people watching it? And I think they're watching it because what they're basically saying is you're not making the right decisions. You're not making the right choices. And that is something that I think, even if you disagree with their message, I think you can agree with what they're saying. Now, maybe you don't agree with their principles and what should you be sacked if you don't have a six-pack? That's up to you, what you decide with that one. But you get what they're aiming at, and I think that's why they have appeal. One of the things I asked in Mount Mindset, and maybe if you follow me on social media, you would have seen that I put up a poll, and the poll is really, really interesting because polls always have a split decision. They always have different opinions, different points of view, different perspectives. And I done a poll last week on Mount Mindset. Now, we've got great people in there. We've got people from all over the world. We've got business people. We've got executives. We've got business owners. We've got people that are looking to find their feet. We've got people that are stuck in their own way and want to get, a breakthrough. They want to find the right way for them to lead their life. And there's no better place than being in there. And to find out what's going on in the community, one of the great ways to do it is to put a poll out. So the poll that I put out was, does your past dictate your future? And I think the answer, there was three answers, and one of them was yes, your past matters. No, it has no bearing on your future. And I think it's a mixture of both. And conclusively, for the first time in any poll that we'd had, there was a 100% agreement in the answer. And that answer was yes, the past matters. So on the Mount Mindset community call that we have every Sunday, where we have a group coaching call with everyone in the community, we join in on a Sunday night, 7 p.m, and we go through a topic. And that topic was on that poll. And I asked 2 questions. I says, look, this was the answer to the poll, and I'm going to categorically show you that it doesn't matter, that that answer was wrong. The real answer, and the answer that it should have been, is it has no bearing on your future. I repeat, no bearing on your future. And to me, it's like looking through, it's like trying to drive, imagine your future is a bit like you driving in a car, and you have this car and you're heading towards a destination, and you have this huge windscreen that you can look out of, but you're constantly looking in the rear view mirror trying to head to your destination. You're never going to get there because you don't know where you're going, because you're always looking backwards. That's what the past is. So there was 2 great questions that we done in there, and it was a eureka moment for everyone that was on the call. It was really great, really good energy, and you could sense the involvement in on the call, and seeing the penny drop for people that, hey, I never seen it like that. That was pivotal, and it shows why it's important to develop your mindset, and why your past has no bearing on the future, and you can build a future that you want. No matter where you are, no matter how hard it's been, you can pick the future that you want in life. And the best way to do that is to build a really, really compelling future. And what I mean by a really, really compelling future is something that you will go all in on. What would that look like to you? So if you're listening or you're watching us in video, feel free to pause this. What would a compelling future look like to you that you would be prepared to go all in for? What would that future be like? Take a few minutes and write that down. Write down whatever that is. Put down things like, where would you be living? What's your relationships like? What's your finances look like? What destinations do you want to visit? How are you spending your time? What activities are you involved in? Be as detailed as you like, but give it some thought. And it needs to be compelling enough that you would do anything and everything to get there. So, if you want, take a pen out and get involved and write it down. So the next question, and one of the things that I would suggest is that see if you are, which one do you lean more towards here? So are you always focusing on what you have and what you've got? Or do you tend to focus on what's missing and what you need to get? Now, you might focus on both, but which one do you lean more to? Do you lean more to what's missing and what you need? Or are you quite content with what you've got? And what I would say is that if you've got a sense that you are aiming at something that's missing, then you're always, if that's your primary focus, what you primarily look towards, then what happens is you are constantly seeking something else. It's like nothing is ever good enough. And it would display that. I mean, one of the examples I would give you is imagine that how many billionaires out there have got all the money, all the wealth, all the fame, and no matter what they've got, they're not happy. What's going on there is their primary focus is lack. So just imagine what's going on in their mind, that if they are constantly driven to look for what they lack, they can never ever feel gratified. They can never ever feel fulfilled. They can never ever feel happy. And it's not to diminish that, because if you can spot what's missing or you can spot what can be improved, then it's a great tool to have. It's an unbelievable tool because you can spot where you can improve, you can spot where you can develop, you can spot opportunities. But where the danger is if that is your primary focus. And what you want to be able to do is switch. So the best way to switch is to actually think about what it is that you're grateful for and what you do have, the amazing results that you've had so far, what's brought you here. What great decisions did you make that got you here? Have you been through a really rough ride and you'd managed to get through it and you got out the other side? Are you going through a really rough time and you managed to, you're soldiering on through? well, good on you, keep going. But whatever it is that you have got, great friends, great family, maybe you've saved up some money, maybe you've started a business, maybe you're investing, maybe you looked for that promotion, whatever it is that you've got, however good that is, just take time to recognize it. And when you recognize it, you can start to sense how much better you feel, because what I would like you to notice is that whatever you focus on will determine how you feel. So if you focus on what's missing, you will always feel lack. If you focus on what good that you have, or what good that you've done, you'll feel a sense of gratitude. And that shift in how you feel will shift your perspective on how you feel about life. So just imagine that if you're constantly focused, you can have people there that have, 100 million in the bank, and they have a sense of lack because it's their primary focus, and it's madness. You go, look, you've got lots and lots of money. Like, I need more because it's missing. And on the other end of the spectrum, think of people that are like this. Have you ever had someone that no matter, their life isn't great because they make lots and lots of bad choices and they focus on what's missing, and all they do is bang on about what they don't have, what they don't get, why they don't have it, and why life is terrible because they don't get it. And you go, well, I've got a clue why you probably don't have a great life. You don't have great results because of what you focus on, and your focus is on all the things and all the negativity and all the things that you lack, and you're disregarding all the great things that you've done and all the great people around you and the people that are supporting you. So I'm sure that'll be pretty tangible to a lot of you out there. And one of the things, if you want to sort of do an exercise here, is that if you want to have a compelling future and you want to design that compelling future, you need to be honest. And the best way the two questions to ask yourself is, the first one is, where is it that you are today? And be honest, audit where you're at. Like, what have you got? What skills have you got? How are you financially? How are you mentally? How are you physically? How are you spiritually? Like, give yourself an audit saying, look, right, this is where I'm at. And then think about, where is it that you want to go? Where do you want to be? What does that future look like? And when you start to think about where you want to go, you can now start to find the things that you need to work on. So like, for instance, if you're out of shape, because one of the things that we started off was talking about why there's viral attention on guys being arseholes to people about being out of shape. Why is that getting traction? Well, you could say on the surface level it's getting traction because they are being dramatic and people like that sort of contentious drama. However, is there a deeper reason? And is it because people deep down know that they're out of shape and that they should get up off their backside and they should start training, they should work on their body, they should work on their physical well-being, and not to necessarily directly please, some Instagram famous, viral dude, but more about, how do you feel about yourself? And would you feel better if you got in a better shape? If you improved your fitness, would you feel better about yourself than you do now? What about your mental state of mind? If you developed your mindset, how would you feel? If you had a more positive outlook, how would you feel? If you had a sense of gratitude about the things that you've got, how would you feel? How would you feel if you weren't embarrassed about taking your t-shirt off? How would you feel about if you developed the way that you come across? How would you feel if you decided to take that risk or start that business or get that promotion? How would you feel if you'd shifted your mindset into a gratitude sort of state of mind where you feel a sense of gratitude, feeling lucky for what you have? Imagine how you would approach these what ifs. What if I did this and what if I done that? Imagine how much better that you would feel. And again, it goes back to the point, do these outrageous statements that these guys make have any message in them? And I think that they do. And I think it's important because overall I speak to people that I'll say to them something like, what would be your ideal life in 12 months' time? What would that look like? Imagine that you had the most phenomenal 12 months of your life, that everything you touched turned to gold, that every single thing that you went for worked, that you've got in great shape. What would it look like if you were in great shape financially, you were smashing it out the park, you spent great time with your loved ones? Did you spend time with your significant other? Did you find your significant other? Are you planning on starting a family? Do you have a family? What's that family like? You know, what is there events that you want to take part on? Is there challenges that you want to take on? Is there goals and things that really make your heart sing? What are they? Imagine that you had them in the next 12 months. What would life be like? And you see people and what they start and they do, this is what they do. They say, well, this, I don't want this, and I wouldn't want to be doing this, and I wouldn't want to be doing that. And it's like, why are you talking about the things that you don't want? Why are you focusing on them? Just the same as you're focusing on what's missing instead of what you're grateful for. If you could build a compelling future that you would go all in on, why are you talking about the things that you don't want? Where is your focus going? And remember, focus equals feeling. And if you focus on don't, I don't want, how are you going to feel? So stop. Right, what do you want? Why do you want it? Why would it be good to get those things? How would it make you feel? And if you got there, imagine what it would be like. Imagine it all came true. Imagine it all happened. And you're watching, you taking your eyes out of the rearview mirror and you start looking out that big, huge windscreen. That's why it's important to shift that mindset, because 99% of people out there have their mindset round the wrong way. And it's quite easy to fix. It's quite easy to spot, but it's something you need to keep up, because the media will shock you into believing, things are negative. There's lots of things out there that are dramatized. There's lots of sort of reality TV shows that are just brain rot, that are luring you back to that old way of thinking. And if you do not keep on top of your mindset, you'll fall back there. So it's really, really, really important that you do this. Literally, your future depends on it. You might not know it. It might seem a dramatic statement, but it does. Because if you can shift your mindset, you will shift your future. It's as simple as that. That's a big, bold statement, but I've seen it too many times with too many people for it to be coincidence. So think about that. Shift your mindset will shift your future. If you don't like the life that you've got, then do something about it. The first thing that you should do is shift that mindset. And don't tell me it's hard, and don't tell me it's tough, and don't tell me you don't know where to look, right? Because there's literally thousands and thousands and thousands of videos on it. And if you can't find them, then you're in luck, because I have a mindset coaching community. The link will be in the show notes. If you want to know where to come and you want to get involved, join in the fun. One of the things I would say there is why you want to get the reasons why, and why you want to feel good about your future, is a very, very, very well-regarded guy in the world of mindset and development, a guy called Jim Rohn, said, reasons come first, answers come second. There's a slight aside. I was writing down my notes for what we're going to discuss, and I came across this on Sunday night when I was doing the mindset call. So I was writing, I call me old school, I like to use a pen and a piece of paper and a notepad. I was writing down the layout of the questions on the mindset call, so in what order and what format that I would do it. And I was flicking through the pages, the boys had came in, and like any time that you need to sit down and concentrate, there were like two tornadoes just blowing through the house, full of energy and beans. And I went to flick over to write on the next page, and this is what I found. So take a look at that. For all you guys that are listening, I'm showing the camera a A4 page of just spider after spider and snakes and insects and something called an alive war and 12,000 spiders. So that was what the kids had drew in the notepad. So it's important to have these things. It's important to laugh, and I would keep that in. I'm going to keep that in my notepad, because life's good. Right? Life can be tough, right? Life can be hard, and you can get distracted with the things that are, bills and the car and this and that and the next thing, and news and media and fucking politicians lying and there's a lot of distractions out there, right? And it's easy to get down. It's easy to feel annoyed. It's easy to feel pissed off. But look, life is good. Just like that little moment when I'm filling in, trying to concentrate, I turn over the page and I can't help but smile because my boys have come in and used my pad as a paper just to let their imaginations flow and to draw some pictures. And life can be like that. Even when you're needing to get focused and double down, just take a moment to recognise the great things that you have, and you'll notice how you feel. And when you start to feel that and you feel good, then the way that you approach things will improve. Because remember, you can shift your mindset because you can shift your future. And you can do that using this particular formula. Now, there's nothing new under the sun. This has been known for millennia. The very successful people use this all the time. And this is how they do it. So, stay the course. See it through. Go all in. Make a commitment to yourself. Commit to doing what it takes. Right? Because it's worth it. When you start to see the results, you'll build confidence. When you build confidence, you build momentum. When you build momentum, you feel good. And when you feel good, you are unstoppable. So here's some questions that I asked. I think I'll share these with you because there were some great questions and I thought these would be worth discussing. And I put them down. So feel free to fill these in for yourself and pause the recording. So the first one was, what do you wish you would have known 10 years ago? So feel free to pause that and write down your answer. And I'll tell you what I wrote. It says technology is developing so fast that the information age is here and the industrial age is behind us. And that one of the great things that comes out of that information age is the ability to teach people your passion. So if you don't think that you've got something that you can teach them that because there's someone out there wishing they knew what you knew. And we have the technology to be able to distribute that. So just think to yourself, what might that be? Because we have the technology to do it. And there is no more deeper sense of fulfillment than helping someone out. We help someone out and they like what you like. They like your passion. It feels good as well. So that's what I wish I knew 10 years ago. It wasn't the lottery numbers and it wasn't to buy Bitcoin, like most people would have probably suggested, but rather that there was a shift coming and what that shift may look like. The next question was, what would you tell your 20-year-old self? So what would I tell 20-year-old Gio? You can pause the recording if you want to write this down. Write down your answers and I'll tell you mine. So I put this: go all out. There is no time to waste. Teaching people is an amazing, glorious and fun adventure. Deeply fulfilling. Life is fast. Enjoy the ride and go all out. So don't hold back. Get rid of your limiting beliefs. See all that BS that you tell yourself of why you can't get rid of it. Right? Stop looking in the rearview mirror. Stop worrying about the things that never come, the day that will never arrive. Stop worrying about the things that could happen. Right? And dare to dream. Imagine what if. Because when you speak to people that are at the end of their life, they tell you the things all the time. It sounds cliche, but you speak to enough people. I've spoke to people that are, on their deathbed. I've spoke to people that are dying. I've spoke to people that are old. Universally say, I wish I'd done more. Don't be that person. Don't get there. Do something about it now. Go find something you're passionate about. Go and get involved. Go and get people around you that are like you. Or maybe you want to be like them. Get involved. Because you will bring out the best in yourself and there's people that will be looking up to you. So make sure that you go and find them. Make sure that you find them and people that can learn from you, that they find you. Make it known whatever your passion is. Because we are in the information age and the time is now. The other question, the last one, was what do I enjoy doing most? So I gave this a bit of thought. I thought to myself, one of the things that I enjoy doing most is actually unlocking people's minds. You know, being a successful investor and doing pretty well and enjoying the sort of the knowledge and things like that has all been phenomenal. All of it. It's given me a life that I could have never dreamed of, that was beyond my wildest dreams. It's allowed me to do things that I would have never thought possible. It's brought me in front of some of the most phenomenal people in the planet, some of the wisest, smartest, great thinkers. It's put me in places that, you know, I have a deep sense of gratitude for being able to do. It's given me a skill set to understand the world in a way that a lot of people wouldn't think was possible. And it is, without a shadow of a doubt, been a worthwhile adventure. But above all of that, helping people get more out of themselves has been one of the things that I've found most satisfying. Being a father and bringing up your kids and seeing them grow and develop. There is, for any parent that's out there that's done the work and put in the time, they'll know what I mean. And you know, at times people will say things like, you know, why do you do the podcast? Or is it worth it? And, you know, do you make money out of it and all this sort of stuff? But above that, I mean, like, see when you get messages, you've got friends that will message and they'll say things like, you know, I just remembered that a bit of advice that he'd given me. I've got a good friend, for example, that was taking on a couple of extreme challenges and putting himself physically through putting himself through the paces and really pushing. You know, send him voice notes and I'll encourage him. I'll say, look, you know, I'll track what he's doing and I'll keep him G'd up because it's good. And I'm like, you know, these are the things that are really, really good. You know, say things like, you know, remember that you spoke about visualization. He's like, I used this today and I went and achieved a, you know, personal best 5 times over. I could have never believed I would have been able to do it. But when you said that on that podcast, it reminded me to go and do it. And you get people that have been involved in business and they're like, you know, I thought I knew everything. And he says, when you suggested this, I thought, hey, I'm going to try that. Even people that get in touch and they say, look, I didn't think that was possible. And would you be able to help me? I'm like, yeah, get involved. There's more than enough to go around. And it's these things that make it worthwhile, because you can have a big impact in people's lives. You can change the course of their lives because you can show them something simple that can take them to the next stage, that can open doors that they never thought were possible, that can get them the freedom and get the time back and be able to have the flexibility to live the lives that they want. And I was, you know, on the other end of that, I've got friends that have, you know, been in really, really tough times. They're really suffering or struggling. Being able to understand the tools of the mind and how to unlock your mindset has been able to allowed me to be there for them. And not necessarily that they, you know, wouldn't have got there themselves. I'm sure they would have, but it's nice to be there for people. It's nice to be there for someone that's in need, right? Because one day you might be down and you want someone to be able to give you the support that you were able to provide. So give it while you're on top. Give it while you're firing on all cylinders, while you're in good health, because we need a bit more of that. The world needs that, and it's good. You think about how it would feel if you were able to do that, and it'll be something in you that you can do. So make sure that you're doing it. So finally, Whyconic Hill. We were there on Monday. So myself and William decided to climb Whyconic Hill after visiting some properties. So we done a bit of content, took the drone and rather tragically made an error. And that error was having lunch beforehand. Oh my word, a food coma had hit hard. Thought, right, okay, sitting in the car, do you want to go up this hill? The answer was no. I don't want to go up this hill. I don't want to go near this hill. But it's not about how you feel. It's about what you're going to do. See, when that clock gets to 10:02, right, you'll know this. Who are you at 10:02? Right, so it's 10 minutes to go at whatever deadline you've got. closing time, finishing time, whatever. Are you going hard into it, or are you the one going, hey, it's 10 minutes, I can't wait to get finished? Because it's the 10 minutes. Who are you at 10 to that will decide your life? And I'm gonna be honest, I did not want to get out of that car. I was content. Just, nah, it would have been easy to say, look, let's head back. But what's that going to say for the inaugural Mount Mindset meetup? 30th of June, Conic Hill. Why Conic Hill? Well, I'll tell you why Conic Hill, because during William's time of me mentoring him and helping him get to where he's at today, and it was a rather rapid ascension in terms of timeline, and it was a phenomenal sort of ascension because you've got COVID, the pandemic, everything up in the air, lots going on. It would have been a tricky time to do anything, never mind to survive, rather than never mind be a success. So there was lots of businesses that failed, lots that went by the wayside. And one of the things that happened during that time, was William's rise, was it was very, very turbulent. So there was times that it didn't go well. There was times where there was things that were, blown up in your face. There was times where people let you down. There was times where, things just didn't go the way you'd planned. And no matter what was going on, the many times that we climbed that hill, and it was like Mother Nature knew what you needed. Because I was asking William, and he says it was like you would come up here with all your problems and you would shed them on the way down. I says, what do you think that is? I says, well, he says, well, I think it's that thing where you make that decision to start and you decide to climb out of whatever hole it is that you're in. And you're, literally climbing a hill to get to the top. And it's the same as like climbing out that hole. You don't feel like it, but you're going to do it anyway. And it's the intent that you put behind it. That who are you at 10 to? What are you going to do when the chips are down? You have about 40 decisions every day. And every day you imagine that any one decision isn't going to make or break your life, but the accumulative total of those decisions will dictate the course of your life. And the really, really pivotal ones are the ones that you do when you don't feel like it. You make the right call when you don't feel like it. You choose resilience over taking the easy road. You choose the harder option. You choose the one that you don't want to do the at all, because you think, no, I'm going to get there. I'm going to go and do this. I know it needs done, and I don't want to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway. And I think that's why you see the likes of these guys like David Goggins that just push through. It doesn't matter how you feel. Push on, because that's where you find growth. And as we're climbing a hill and negotiating deals on the phone with, for properties and this type of thing, and it was like the things that would have been unnatural then are natural now. And it was great to see, because I've been privy and witness to that rather short, rapid ascension and noticing the changes. And one of the things that I think was the biggest shift is the biggest shift in mindset. That's why I'm very, very big into working on your mindset. I have a property education course that will teach you all the skills that you need to be a property professional. And I can literally take you from knowing nothing to knowing exactly what you need to know to being one of the sharpest property operators out there. However, one of the biggest things that needs to be shifted and in the right place before you head into this is your mindset. And that hill represents that climb and mindset. And that's why it's Mount Mindset's inaugural meet. It's why I took Ted along to scout it out. That's why myself and William went along on Monday, because climbing that hill is something special, because you get the sense of it's short. It's about between 30 and 50 minutes effort up to the top, depending on your fitness level. 30 if you're quick, 50 if you're needing a few breaks and you want to sort of just pace it up. But it's not long. And then the views on the top there are incredible over Loch Lomond, the bottom of the foot of the Cairngorms, bottom of the Highland mountain range, that you can see the beautiful, beautiful, stunning scenery of Scotland. and you've made the effort to go up there, and you're in Mother Nature, and you're getting the fresh air, and you just get this sense that you've accomplished something. And that's why it's been an incredible hill for so many people. And that's why we're going there on the 30th of June for the Mount Mindset meetup. So if you fancy shifting your mindset up a gear, if you want to get in the game, come and join in the fun. You got dogs, bring the dogs along. You got kids, bring the kids along. Bring a bottle of water. Get ready to climb Mount Mindset. So hope you've enjoyed this week's episode of Conversations with an Investor, all things mindset. Give me a follow on the social media. Let me know your comments. Let me know what you think. Have you had a shift in mindset? Do you want to shift it up a gear? Where would you shift it to? Where do you feel that you're stuck? And if you want to get involved in the game early, join Mount Mindset on School. We'll see you along there. And from me this week, that is a wrap.